everyone who I knew, all my friends, thought I died. So I lived in a world where people thought I was dead. They had a memorial for me. They thought I was dead.
All right, I'm so excited. My friend Azar is in studio with us for Too Personal. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You can see her on Truth After Dark with my old co-host and friends, former co-host and friends, Paul Pierce. And you can follow her on social media. I'm Azar Faraday. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm
so
happy
good to have
you.
You look fabulous. How have you been? How are you doing?
You know what? I'm okay. Life is lifing this year.
2026 has been an interesting year.
It's been tough. I'll be honest.
What's been the hardest part of the year so far?
I think it's just for me throwing me curveballs. Like you think that one thing is going away, and then next episode it's something completely different, and you just have to adjust. And I think I have a problem with control. So I want to control everything, and letting go is very hard for me. So being able to just say, you have to let go, you have to let things be what it is a struggle that I'm working on. And I feel like this year is like, you're going to learn to let go because you have no other choice, honey.
Where do you think your control issues come from?
Probably some type of childhood trauma, I'm sure. You want to control the outcome because you feel like it will make it less painful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do. I try to do, and it doesn't make it any less painful. But for some reason, I still continue to try and control it.
Well, I think for the most part, control is something that most people struggle with. It's a very common thing to struggle with because, to your point, you feel like if you know the outcome, you can prepare yourself better for it. But in a lot of situations, in most situations, the outcome has nothing to do with how you're behaving or your choices. What have you let go of something recently and it's made it easier?
It hasn't made it easier.
So we're just going through it.
Yeah, we're just going through it. But I am trying. There's things that I have held on to, I would say, that was not meant for me. And I knew the signs were there, but I just kept holding on because I'm like, I still want this to work out, whether it's like business, friendships, relationships. And, sometimes you're forced to let something go. And you're like, damn. And then you replay all the things and like, if I would have done this differently, could I still have it? If I would have did this, can I still try to go back? And, you do all of that. And I'm trying to just learn to accept things for what they are.
Is that a pride thing for you? More than control?
It might be a pride and maybe ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that for sure. Yeah. And you know what? I have a really hard time living with the fact that I've made a mistake. Like, that is really hard for me. Like, knowing I've done something
I can hear
wrong.
the men now. See? No accountability.
Okay, right, that's exactly what men say.
Yeah. I don't do well with mistakes either.
Yeah.
But did you know it was your mistake? Or, like, do you feel now that...
It's kind of like you feel now when you reflect on it.
Okay.
But you sometimes feel like you should have known better, Like, I should have done better. I should have known better.
Is it something that you've done in the past so you already knew that lesson?
Yeah, sometimes. That has happened to me, where I've known the lesson or I know better. Like, I know better, but I think that it can be different, I can do things differently.
Yeah, I definitely struggled with that for a long time. I do feel like now I'm almost militant with myself about those kind of things. Like, recently I had a friend do some goofy shit, and it's also the Capricorn in me really helps with this, but she did some goofy shit and I was like, oh, no longer friends. Like, I didn't have to even consider it. Like, you have it one time, actually 0 times. You have no times to be weird with me. The first time you're weird with me is the last time you're weird with me. And I've not been that kind of person throughout my life.
Are you like that in romantic relationships too?
So I have more flexibility in romantic relationships because I have orgasms in those. Yeah. So it's, there's some incentive to push through the other side. But you just in my life being weird, like you got to be contributing on a very high end. Yeah. You got to be bringing bags to the table. But at the end of the day, even if I allow you still around, you're going to be put into a different category. Yeah. Like the continuous access to my uh love and my affection and my trust, like that's cut off whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you'll ever get to that?
So I think with friends,
because I'm a psychopath, so you don't have to.
Well, you're a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn rising. Capricorns are already like very, like my best friend's a Capricorn. You guys don't play, honestly.
Well, we don't play because we give you a lot. We usually, not anymore.
Yeah.
But for me, but usually once I cut you off, I know that it's time because I've given you a long runway of grace and forgiveness and understanding. So if you have played in my face so religiously, then now you're like, but that's why they're always shocked.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I can't believe? Like, the fuck you mean you can't believe? You've been doing this shit for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they'll never speak to me again.
100%. I think with friends.
What is your sign?
I'm an Aries. What is that?
No, I understand. I understand. I understand. I understand your lack of being militant.
Yeah, I do have a lack of that. And I will say that, like, I will beat a dead horse, honey. And that's my problem. Like, I can cut people off and I will exhaust all my resources. I'll exhaust every avenue. I'll figure out any way we can make it work or figure things out. And at that point, once I cut you off, I'm done. When I cut you off, I really am done. But the amount of things it takes for me to be done is just ridiculous at this point. Like, I have to be more, I'm so understanding to the point where I can understand the disrespect a little too much. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, I understand why you did that. Or I feel bad, you know, I understand. Like, I'm very understanding. And that's my problem. And I think it always stems from like, well, if I made a mistake, I would want someone to be this understanding with me. You know, but I think with friends, I've gotten more like, you do something goofy, cool, cut off. Romantic relationships, I do give a lot more grace in romantic relationships where, you know, I have to get better at that too, to be honest.
I feel you on that. I do wonder though, like, and this has been my hang up with two things that you said.
Okay.
Forgiveness is one thing, so don't let me lose track of wanting to ask you about that. But you knowing something about the root of a person and allowing that knowledge of why they are that way to create excuses for their behavior in your brain. I used to do that, which is why now when people drop trauma on my lap, I'm like, yeah, that's for a therapist, big homie. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. We're not doing the trauma Olympics. If you have something that makes that continuously forces you to make bad decisions, you need to get the fuck out of my face. I'm sorry for that happened to you, but you're not about to do it to me just because I know that's why you're doing it. Do you think that, because that was my experience?
No, yes, that's 100% it. And I agree. It's not my trauma to carry. It's not my burden to carry. So I shouldn't, but I make those excuses like, well, they've been through this and da-da-da-da. And I shouldn't. Like, I need to cut that out. And I feel like I will be in better positions if I ended things a lot more quickly. And, you know, people have asked me, and this is a realization that I had recently. People are like, oh, you're 35, you don't have kids, you know, and I want kids. I know you don't. I want children, you know, I won at this point. And, you know, you're not married, right? So like, what, you know, people love to say that. Like, what's the problem with you? And I'm like, well, I realize the problem with me is I stay in places where the expiration date has already came. And so instead of leaving when I was 28, I stayed with you till I was 32 because I gave you chance after chance, knowing that it was done at 28. So I think a lot of women are staying in relationships. We're masking it as loyalty, but it can be fear. It can be fear of being alone, all these things, but it's going to be inevitable that you'll get to that place because you know this relationship is not in alignment with you. So you're just going to get there later on in life. And now you're going to have to start over at 32 and then 34 and then 38. No matter how much we want to make something work, if it's not for you, you have to let it go. And if it's for you, I do believe that people will do the work or maybe you guys will cross paths again. But that has been my mistake, I think. And obviously I don't regret it now because it is what it is. I had to learn what I had to learn. But I do think that's the reason I am in the position I'm in right now.
So you do want to be married and have kids?
I do, yeah.
Do you think that you date with those intentions? Like, do you think the people that you are like allowing into your life in that committed space, because not everyone that you date, like go on a couple dates with or hang out with for a month or whatever, it's kind of too soon to know. But there are signs very early that this is not a person that would be a good husband, that would be a good father, that would, maybe not have the qualities of somebody that you would want to do life with.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I have been in relationships where I'm like, this is my husband. I see this, and then during the relationship period, I realize, hey, this is not my husband. I don't.
But you haven't left.
But I have not left, and I've even been engaged, twice, and that is because I stay in these relationships with hope that, oh, well, maybe this person will stay, and a fear, like for a long time, a fear of just being alone, honestly, if I'm being very vulnerable and honest. And it's only led me to the place of you don't even have the things you desire because you're dating with people. Like I always say, if you want a provider, stop getting a man who's not a provider and trying to convince them to be one. Get with someone who's in alignment with what you want. And I think that's been the thing for me. And even the men I've been with, they wanted to be married. They wanted to have kids, but there were other qualities that I thought like, I don't want to have a kid with you. I don't want that commitment with you. Mm-hmm. So I've been in positions where I could have that baby and I could be married, but I'm like, no, I just can't do this with you because I don't want to be married and have a kid enough to be stuck with someone for the rest of my life that I don't want to be with. I never want a kid in marriage that bad though. Like I will be single with no kid and no marriage before I'm like, I'll just marry this guy and have a kid with him because whatever.
That's an important distinction though, because there are some women, some people, I guess, who really just want to be married.
Yeah.
For whatever reason that they want to be married. Mm-hmm. And their priority is not to be happy in the marriage. Mm-hmm. The priority is not to have a good long life with someone. They just want to check those boxes. Yep. And they're willing to compromise that part in order to do that. And listen, your journey is your journey, whatever you want for you. If you like it, I love it. For you.
Yeah.
But I feel you on that. And then that loops me back to the forgiveness thing. Do you feel like, because I hear what you're saying, we all want to be forgiven, right? We all want grace. Mm-hmm. But I do think in some ways in society, we've corrected with forgiveness. So to go on this journey with me. I am not a forgiving person. I do not forgive people who do not take accountability. And I'm sorry doesn't slap the second time round. Okay, to quote Dave. It doesn't. Yeah. The first time you say I'm sorry, okay. The second time, it'll hit the same. Are you sorry? Because you did it again.
Yeah.
And depending on what it is you did again,
you
really, this is who you are. Because I do want to be given grace. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes very rarely, but I do. And there's a difference between a mistake and a choice.
Yeah.
Because if you knew the consequences, and once you get to a certain age, you know the consequences of certain decisions. So when people are like, oh, you got to forgive them for you. It's not for them. It's for you. Like, fuck off. I'm not forgiving them. I'm going to die mad at them. Okay. Because they've done nothing to account for what they've done to me or to other people. So fuck them. You sound like you're a little more forgiving than me.
I am so good.
Or are you going on your journey to become less forgiving?
So I will say I am very forgiving. And I think that stems from also coming from a family in which, I had a lot of trauma and, now I have a relationship with my parents, my mom, and I had to be forgiving in order to have that. Right. And I feel like forgiveness is more for me than the person because I can forgive you and never fuck with you again. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to carry that anger.
But can you forgive them even if they don't apologize?
No, I can. But I cannot let you back in my life. But yes, I can forgive you if you don't. My mom has never apologized to me one time. I don't even think she realizes or ever wants to admit what happened, but I have forgiven her. I have.
That's big of you.
And I love her and I understand that where she has been through whatever she's been through and she's a product of her environment, her trauma, and we're good. But will I let you back into my life outside of family? My mom is an exception, even though I'm all for someone cutting off their mom, dad, whoever. I'm for that. But if you can't take accountability and you can't show up, I won't let you back in my life. No. But if you can take accountability, I'm someone that believes in a romantic gesture. If you did something and then you come back and you're apologizing and you're showing change behavior, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. And that's might be my problem, but I'm a sucker for that.
Not judging. But
when people say that, they're usually judging.
No, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I used to be a sucker for those as well. But the purse lips is because do they stay consistent with the behavior afterwards? Because a romantic gesture is just that, a gesture.
Yeah.
If your behavior does not stay consistent. And it's not to say you won't ever make a mistake again, but like, are you going to do the thing that you did that made me need this grand gesture to forgive you?
Yeah. No, and you know what? I will say that I think I have a different view on it because I was in a position where I made the mistake and the person left, and then I like got them back, and then, you know, it wasn't a man. I would never do this with a man. I got them back, and then they were like, okay, let's redo it. And then I made the mistake again. Yeah, like not the same mistake, but I didn't stay consistent with the change behavior in which like I promised that I would do. And I got distracted. Like my dad was in the hospital. I was dealing with it. Like it was just so much life stuff and I felt overwhelmed, and then they left again. And then I was just so traumatized. I'm like, I will do right this time, I promise. But like I couldn't even like fight for it again because I felt so bad. Like, you know, I get it if you make a mistake, but sometimes like, unfortunately, big things can make you realize like, damn, I need to do better. You know what I mean? And sometimes you'll never get the opportunity with that person again, but it will change you and make you a better person. And I think that's what it did for me. But probably if I had the opportunity with that person, I wouldn't have done it again. Like I would have really showed up.
Well, I think we're all the villain in someone's story.
For sure.
You know, it's at some point that's inevitable because none of us are perfect. And, you know, there's a growth journey that we all go on. So I think that's big of you though. Like the part where I get frustrated with people is like, if you're having the same consistent experience, person after person, friend after friend, like I've had friends who like they have the same experience with everyone. And I'm like, babes, it's you. Yeah. Like you are the one. Yeah. You say you're sad about this, you're sad about that. You have the same experience with everyone. You're the one that needs to make the change. Like, let this last experience be the last one. Yeah. Like take the pain that you're feeling about losing this friend or losing this job. Yeah. And funnel it into being better. Yeah. And like you may not ever atone with that situation, but you can stop this pattern. Exactly. 100%. 100%. I agree with that. Yeah. I feel you. It's doing work on yourself is very hard. And it's why a lot of people don't do it. Yeah. It's why a lot of people don't do it. And just being alone with your thoughts and knowing like, we like to vilify the person we were with because it makes us feel better. It's like, they were so evil, they were this, so now I don't have to take accountability for anything I did. They were the messed up person. And it's like when you realize like you are a part of the problem, like you play a role in your own suffering. And I feel like once you realize that and take accountability, it hurts. It really fucking hurts to like dig deep and realize like, wow, I'm fucked up in a lot of ways. It hurts. But once you go down deep in there and you realize that, you can do the work to change it, you know? But I do still believe that relationships are mirrors, and there's a lot of work you can't do when you're not in a relationship. Like we like to say we heal, we can do all the ayahuasca and everything that you want to do but when you get into that relationship, that is when all those problems are going to come up. And that's when you either have to deal with them and deal with them together, deal with them on your own and fight through it. Or, you know, some people say, hey, I can't do this, and they leave the relationship. But that's what happens in relationships. Like I can be the most healed bitch in America and I can get in a relationship and now all of my trauma is coming up. Because that's what relationships are for. They are mirrors into the things that you need to work on. And they won't come up without those relationships. Girl, you fucking preaching. You are fucking preaching. I'm gonna give you an analogy. Yeah. It's like you do the practice, right? You're doing the 200 free throws every practice, all the drills. You don't have no defender on you. Yep. Like, yeah, you might be perfect in practice, but it full speed in the game. Now what's up?
Exactly.
Now
Exactly.
How do you recover from missing that free throw? Do you go back and throw your fit and get it in the ref's face and get attacked? Like, how do you put the practice to play? And I do agree with that. It is important to take time alone in any kind of
For sure.
in any kind of situation, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a career, whether it's a relationship, to self-reflect and do the work of the roots of why you did that, the roots of why, to your point, you played a role in your own suffering.
Yeah.
The habits that you want to change, but you can't really practice it until you're in a situation like that again.
100%.
To implement it, and it may not be seamless.
100%. 100%. That stuff comes up.
And it's important that you not promise that it be seamless.
Yeah.
It's not that you need to present yourself as imperfect, because we all know that, or be self-deprecating, because I hate self-deprecating shit. Like, people who are just constantly talking bad about themselves. Like, you can make a joke here or there. I do it sometimes, but like, it's exhausting. And it's like, listen, man, all of us have insecurities. All of us have stuff we're going through. Like, we got it. You're the most insecure. Like, congratulations, you won the ribbon. But you do have to make sure, I think, if you have something that you've been working on, that you're honest about that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Hey, I want to show up better than I did last time, but this is the thing I've been working on. So if I'm a little rusty or a little clunky, this is why.
Yeah. 100%. I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah. It's it's so ironic that you're talking about all this, because I've just been like, I'm really relating to a lot of the things that you're saying, because that healing journey is really a journey, and it's not a process that is like, okay, we did this and now we're going to be this way, and we did this, we're now going to this way. Like, you're never not going to be triggered again. You're never going to be confronted with those demons again. So just to come full circle with everything, what is the thing you're working on right now?
You know what? I would say number one is accepting myself for who I am. Whether, and I don't mean that in a way where people are like, this is who I am and I'm not going to change. But it's like accepting that I am this way for whatever reason. And then understanding like how to work on those things, but also let go and let what is happen. Like I have to, because I think, again, like, I live in this space of trying to control outcomes, and you don't control the outcome anyways, and you don't avoid the pain. And it's like working through that, like being with myself and like hearing the things that I don't want to hear and understanding those ugly parts of me. Like, it's something I avoided for a very long time. I know men love to say women don't take accountability or whatever, but I still feel like even within taking accountability, there's things that you hide yourself from. Like, you don't want to admit it, like, but getting in front of it and just being like, this is it, this is what it is, and understanding it, and understanding that some things that people have said about you are true. Like, I hate to admit it, maybe I am insecure. Maybe I do seek validation. Maybe I do, like, these are things I've been told. Maybe I do these things. Why? Mm-hmm. Why am I doing that? Instead of trying to defend so bad, why am I doing these things, and why do I need that? And also there's a part of understanding if that's okay with you. Like, because there's things that maybe you're okay with. Maybe I'm okay that I'm this way, and I just got to find someone else who's okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to change yourself too much. But listen, it's always good to be self-reflective.
Yeah.
And I actually push back on the idea from men that women don't take accountability. We are definitely in therapy more than y'all.
Thank you.
Even if we lie in therapy, we at least there.
Thank you.
We at least trying. But it's also important who you're getting feedback from.
True. I agree.
Because that is something that is very dangerous. Like, make sure that you're getting feedback from somebody. Just because one consistent note about you is across the board, make sure the person who's giving it to you that you're listening to is somebody that really loves you. Somebody who's earned the space in their life to give you feedback.
Very real.
Taking feedback from somebody who's toxic, even if they're telling the truth, it has a seed of something bad.
Yeah.
Like it's important to take notes on yourself, but get it from a positive place. So I thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, of course.
I want to take a hard pivot into something that I did not know about you.
Okay.
And I'm fascinated about this.
I think I know what you're gonna say, maybe, but go ahead.
Okay. So you were in a cult.
I knew you were gonna say
Yeah, I did not know this. Okay.
I knew you were gonna say this. I just talked about this on Mandy and Weezy's podcast. Yes,
okay, so
yes.
are you okay? Shout out Mandy and Weezy.
Yeah.
Are you okay talking about this?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm fascinated by cults. How you get into it.
Yeah.
And I want to ask about all of that. The last like cult documentary I watched was that TikTok dance cult. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I usually don't watch them, but
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. In conclusion, I'd fuck that motherfucker up so quick. He would be in a trunk. So just message to you, but boy. I mean, he wouldn't be coming for me anyway. I can't dance, but
me either.
but all right. So I guess to start from the beginning.
Yeah. So
what was the preaching of the cult, I guess?
So I don't know if you heard about like Paris Hilton basically talking about the cult she was in, but it was similar to what she shared. Like I was young. I was only 15.
Okay.
I was there from when I was like 15 to 17.
So you were 15, so your parents let you go.
Yeah. So my parents sent me there thinking that it was something different than what it really was.
Was it a program?
It was supposed to be like a program. So basically, if you watch the Netflix documentary, The Program, it's literally what I went through. But basically like a woman and a man came into my house. They were like, we can do this the hard way or the easy way. Da, 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 da. They put me in the car. They drove me up to these mountains. I get there.
Hold on. So you're 15 years old.
Yes.
The program are you misbehaving?
So at this point, yeah, this is a whole thing. But basically, I grew up in like a hostile environment. My mother, who is Iranian, she married my dad, he's black. And like I have a sister, I have 5 sisters, but the sister I have with her, my mom, she's tall, she's skinny. I was always like curvy growing up. Like even when I was young, I was tiny, but I had a big butt. And for my mom, she hated that. Like it didn't meet her societal expectation on what she wanted her family to look like. So she would have family photo shoots without me. She just hated me basically. And I think it was just her own self-projection or whatever she went through. So when it's okay. When I got to an age, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I started running away. Mind you, come from my parents, are pretty wealthy, but I decided to run from their house and I was living in a stairwell of an apartment building. I lived in the park, I went through a lot, raped, all this stuff. So my dad was like, come home. Your mom's going to get help. We want you back at the house. So I'm like, all right, I come home. The next morning I wake up, the people are in the house. The 2 people, they take me. I go up to this mountain. It's like trailers. So I'm like, this is crazy. And I get there and, basically they tell me like the minimum amount of time you can be here is like 15 months. So I'm thinking like that traumatized me. I was like, what?
But are you going to do school there?
We didn't do school. So literally, and I think with my parents, it was more say like, so, and I know why, like they recruited people, right? So like parents would come and visit and they would make the girls who were brainwashed talk to the parents and make them seem like, da-da-da-da. A lot of people were brainwashed. So most counselors that worked there were students that came back to counsel, which one of the famous stories is a woman who worked there, who was a counselor. She went there, she got pregnant, and she killed her baby on site while we were there. She's in jail for life. So like she put her baby in like, and a part of her killing the baby, it's horrible, but like she was scared to say she had a baby because it was very religious, like you can't have a baby, sex out of wedlock, all these things. So it was an older couple who owned the, this cult, and they think they're still going. They keep changing the name of it and like going different places type of thing. So basically we worshiped them.
The couple.
Yeah. They were
so
old.
This wasn't Jesus based.
No, it was them. They were Jesus and God. We worshiped them, everything they did. We had to pray to them. We had to do this, obviously.
So when you got there, they say that you're there for 15 months. This isn't something you wanted to do.
No.
Your parents are sending you.
Yeah.
You're saying you're a traumatized teen.
Yeah.
You've gone through the stuff being on the street. You've been raped. You're already traumatized. and they tell you have to be there for 15 months.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be there.
No.
So at what point do you start accepting?
Okay, so that you're there?
Well, just accepting what they're saying, because
Yeah.
if you're not, what the people who willingly get into these things are I cannot, I
can't
like, in the same way that I don't understand a MAGA person. That part I don't understand. But the people who are you were forced into this situation. So at what point did you submit, I guess?
So this is me. So I have a mind of a runaway because I was a runaway for so long. And my biggest thing is they make it so you can run. You can run if you want to run, but you're in the mountains, mountain lions and all type of stuff. And like, people who run always get caught. They don't get anywhere. So they do it like, you can run, you can go. And I decided like, okay, I can't run because I've seen these girls run. And I'm like, the only thing I can do is I can manipulate them and make them think that I want to be here and just go along with the program, because it's a minimum of 15 months you can be there. But little girls were there for years, like 3, 4, 5 years, literally. And some girls turned 18 there and they decided to stay and become like, they were so brainwashed into this program.
Were a lot of was it all girls?
It was all girls.
And so he was the only man?
He was the only man.
Were a lot of the girls there in similar states to you? Like their parents sent them there, or they came there because they had nowhere to go?
Yeah, most of them, some of them, but we couldn't talk really. So like, we couldn't talk for, like, when you're first there, the first like 3, 4 months, you don't talk at all. Except like worship, doing the prayer stuff or whatever. And then like, obviously with him and her, you can talk to them or whatever they wanted to do with you or whatever. But you don't talk to the other girls because they don't want you to talk to other girls, so you guys can try to run or get ideas to like leave and go together. Yeah. So once you're there for a few months, you're on a system. Everyone has like a letter that they're on. It goes from letter A to L3. You graduate on L3. And you get points by like doing good things and and doing what they wanted you to do and all of this stuff. And you would move up and move up, move up. Then girls would run and they would come back and they're back on A, or they would go.
Do you get certain privileges if you're on a different letter?
You get to talk more. So like, you get to talk for 30 minutes a day to the other girls, but you can't talk about your life at home, any friends you had, any secular music, any like celebrities, anything. You can only talk about like just present moment, whatever stuff. But you can't even talk about like, there's so many restrictions on what you could say. So it's like, you barely can say anything. They have you on a strict program, you're like cooking for them and you're doing all the stuff. And then the crazy part about it is I left. So my boyfriend that I had when I was young and everyone who I knew, all my friends, thought I died. So I lived in a world where people thought I was dead. They had a memorial for me. They thought I was dead, literally. So when I came back, finally, people literally thought they saw a ghost. Like my best friend, who's still my best friend, he saw me and literally almost fainted. He thought, like, he could not believe it. And
what did your parents tell them when people asked
nothing.
them?
So my parents were one of those people that like, don't come to our house, like don't talk to us. We're not telling you anything.
But nobody like caught them at Ralph's?
Yeah, like one of my, like they would like ignore. Like the best friend guy that I was telling, he would go to my parents' house. He had a whole theory that he thought my parents murdered me. He was like, I thought they killed you, seriously.
Girl.
So yeah, I was there. And I remember when I got to the level where I was supposed to graduate, they didn't move me up. And I had the points and everything. And they were like,
but at that point, were you still like locked in on manipulating them, or you had just like submitted to this as your life?
I was very locked in on manipulation.
So you never really converted.
I never converted. I always was like, these are crazy.
And your parents did they check on you?
You can't talk to anybody.
But did they come to check on you?
No.
So your parents dropped you at this in the woods.
I think you got a phone call with your parents when they felt like you wouldn't say anything, and they would monitor you. Even when you went to the, like once in a while, like maybe if you did like something good, they'll give you a call. And then like even when you went to the bathroom, the door is open, someone stands in front of the bathroom, you know, just crazy stuff. Like, I mean, it was crazy. I'm allergic to fish. They forced me to eat fish. I was in the hospital. They didn't let me tell the doctor that I was allergic to fish. Because if you get caught lying, they said I was lying. And then you have to do like, they put you somewhere. It's a whole thing. It was a lot. And I feel like there was a lot, a lot of those girls that are now like home, I'll see them on Facebook. Like they have a surviving the program like group and like whatever, and I'll see them and they're just so fucked up. Like they're so
I mean, what
up.
you're saying is, and like I suffer from this as well when I talk about traumatic stuff. You're saying it so matter of factly.
Yeah, I know.
And listen, compartmentalizing is an incredible skill.
Yeah.
For survival.
Yeah.
It's not really so good for your spirit, but yeah, like you seem like a very high level compartmentalizer.
I am.
When you're but do you feel like triggered when you talk about this?
No, I mean there's certain parts of it that's like, but I don't really feel that triggered. I mean, I haven't spoke about it a lot, you know. This is probably the most in-depth I've spoken about it, but it doesn't really trigger me deeply. It's almost like, again, I disassociate. So it's like, okay, It happened, but did it? Yeah, I know it did, but it was a large part of like my teenage years, you know, like I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to school dances. I didn't go to high school like that at all, you know? So this was my experience. This is what I went through. And yeah, it was a lot. And like I said, those girls now, when I look at them, I feel like, wow, I'm happy that I'm so strong-minded because they are like so messed up. Even the lady who's in jail for life for killing her baby, she's like, I love jail. We braid each other's hair. I like, everyone loves me, like in her interviews and stuff. And it's like, what? Like, it's insane.
Were they held accountable at all for
no
the baby's death?
No.
So at what point did you escape, leave?
So what happens is you get to go on a home visit, like once you're about to graduate. So I went home. You have all these rules though. You can't talk to anyone. You can't do this, you can't do that. So I went home and my parents, they just are one of those people that throw money at stuff. So they didn't know like the rules of the thing. They didn't really care. They just like, I went home. And I remember going on AIM and I like hit up my boyfriend that I had before I left. And I was like, hey, Jerron, like this is Azar, da, 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 da. And he was like, yo, stop playing. Like, I know she's dead. Stop harassing me. Like all of this. And I'm like, no, this is really me. And he's like, what's the last thing we did? And da, da, da. And I told him, and he was like, no fucking way. And I'm like, this is where I'm at. Meet me, because I'm at my parents. They own businesses, so I'm one of their offices. My dad's working and stuff, so I'm like sneaking on the computer, and I'm like, "This is where I'm at, downtown. Meet me at 7-Eleven, like in 30 minutes." And he's like, "I'll be there." I go, I meet him at 7-Eleven in 30 minutes. I'm like telling him everything. He's like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." So he's like, "We got to get you out of this situation. Like, you can live with me." He just happened to be like doing well. He was older than me, like whatever. So he was like, come live with me, da-da-da, da-da-da. I left.
And you were 17?
I was 17, but I was going to be 18 in like a few months. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go. I went with him, ended up being with him. That ended up being another abusive situation. He bought me my first car, took care of me, bought me a house, everything, but he was physically abusive. So I had to escape him too. That took me years. But I ended up escaping him finally. But yeah, that's how I got out of that situation.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's hard.
That's a lot though.
Yeah, it was a lot. I will say it was a lot.
Have you talked about it with like a therapist and all that? Yeah.
For sure. I've talked about it in therapy. I've tried to like tell my parents like, hey, there's a documentary called The Program. You should check it out and see what I had to go through when I was 15. And they just ignore it. Like, I don't think they want to accept it or anything. So like
How did they find your parents?
I don't even know. I have no idea how they found my parents. I really don't know. But what I do know is, so parents would come up there to visit to see like, should I send my kid here? And they would have the girls that were the most brainwashed talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like, we love it here. And we do all of this. They never had me talk to a parent one time. So as much as I felt like I manipulated them, I still felt like they kind of were like, I don't know. But yeah, they never had me talk to parents, but I would hear them like, oh, it's wonderful and da 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 da. And then a girl would come. And when the girl would come in, you would just see her like traumatized. You would just see so many young girls come in there just like traumatized, you know? And a lot of them were struggling. They could not do it. They just kept running away or whatever, going crazy, and they just stayed there for years. And then they would like brainwash a lot of these girls, and they would be like completely sold to the program.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot to process. Do you think that it's, I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't, but you go from that to an abusive situation.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself like having a really hard time trusting people?
You know what? It's so crazy you say that, because I actually don't. That's my problem. I actually trust people too quickly. Like I have a thing like called positive projection. I think like, wow, I know I'm a good person and I mean well. I can probably trust this person and they mean well. And that has hurt me a lot, because I think I want something so bad to be real and for me to be able to cling on to it, because I'm like, I never had anyone. Like, I feel like for me, I went through life very alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always been very alone. Like I don't have anybody. Like, and like the one person that I had, which was my cousin, we gained a connection at an older age and she died suddenly, out the blue. So like for me, I think that's why I have put so much effort into my romantic relationships, because I don't have a whole bunch of friends, like, because I didn't get the same opportunities as they did, because I went to this school, then I was playing like all catch up, just trying to be a normal girl, like in the world for so long, like just trying to be regular, and just, I always felt so abnormal and different and not just like a normal person. So like, it just made my life so strange for me. And then like, I never felt like I have friends that have like all these friends from college and this and that. And I just never got that opportunity, and I had to really work hard just to be like, I'm a normal person and I'm going to do this and I'm going to work hard for myself and become these things and fight against all the things I've been through, because I started being, started like even being sexualized from as young as 8 years old, So now it's like my whole life has been like trying to just catch up to be a normal person. And I think that that's what made me feel so alone in my life and not really have a support system. And I think that's why I even started talking. And even though I feel like I've gotten far away from the things that I want to do or the impact that I want to have, I wanted to be like more of a mentor for young women, because I never had that. And I never had someone that like I can look up to and talk to and just be like, hey, this is what I'm going through, So.
Well, they say to, make your pain your purpose.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I do think that if that's something you feel compelled to do, it can be very therapeutic in its own way. I hadn't talked about my physical abuse for many years. And then when I eventually did finally speak about it, I sort of like you have the ability now to talk about really terrible things in kind of a matter of fact way.
Yeah.
And it's not, it is a little jarring for people because they kind of want you to emote, but it's like talking about it is part of the emoting. You don't have to be crying and, exhibiting these, physical reactions to have this be effective. And when you can speak about it with the poise that you do, I think it's very impactful because you can get to the root of what it is that actually happened and like speak from a very practical place about the real pain that this causes. So your parents have taken no accountability at all for this?
No. And my parents are older. Like my dad's almost 80. And like, I just feel They just are, that old school mentality of just like, don't talk about it. It didn't happen, not like we're just so much more advanced when it comes to like speaking about our feelings. And I feel like they just do not have that. My mom is from a foreign country. Who knows what happened to her growing up? I don't know what she's been through. She doesn't even speak about it. But, they don't really talk about that at all. We're good. Like I just saw my parents yesterday. I was at their house, but it is something that I've been through and, it's my experience. And I don't think that unless you go through that experience, even as much as I try to explain it, it's just hard to even like put into words. For a long time, I didn't even really talk about it because I just didn't even know, like, how do I even explain this to anybody? Now they have documentaries and stuff so people can like, oh, just go watch this.
Yeah.
Like my nephew who was obsessed with like what happened to me, he watched the documentary like one episode. He's like, I can't watch this anymore. Like, I'm so sorry. Like he texted me like, I can't believe you went through this. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Have you talked to your siblings about it?
So I have 5 sisters. I'm only really close to one of my sisters. So she knows about it to an extent. But I also like, I know she feels so bad that I don't want to give her too much because I don't want her to feel so like deeply.
You take a lot on, sis.
I know. You
take a lot on, and I don't say that from a critical way.
Yeah.
I mean, like you are giving a lot of grace to a lot of people that really did some terrible things to you.
Yeah, I know.
Not that I'm encouraging you to do anything, but I admire your resilience.
Thank you.
And I have not been in a cult. But yeah, I know the feeling of not of that, but of abuse and all those things. And
sorry.
It's not they did some, it's good that you're forgiving, but they did harm you.
Yeah.
And I understand him. As for me, like the things that my father did to me, I do not forgive him for. I don't speak to him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where it's like I don't harbor deep resentment for him.
Yeah.
And I don't care about why he did those things. But I accept that that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And that in its own way, I guess, helps me to process the pain of it, because it's like, well, that's who he is. I'm not going to allow myself to hope that he's a different person.
Yeah.
How have you channeled all? I mean, that's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And that's just one part of your chapter. I mean, you've spoken publicly about your weight gain.
Yeah.
And that came from a traumatic experience in itself.
Yeah. I was robbed at gunpoint in my home. Like 3 men came in there. I was sleeping. I woke up. I saw him, and I have nights. So I wake up screaming every night. Every single night, yeah. And it's like, I don't know why. I've done like little sleep apnea, all these tests. Like they're like, it's not that. I'm sure it's a traumatic anxiety thing, right? So that's probably how my trauma comes out. But I'll wake up screaming and then I'll go back to sleep. And sometimes I'll think I stopped doing it, but I'll be with like my partner or whoever. And they're like, no, you do it every night. It's just I don't say anything. So I woke up. And I thought I was just tripping. Like, so I went back to sleep and he was like, no, bitch, get up. He put the gun to my head. He was like, I'm not leaving here without anything. Whatever. He went in my safe. He took a bunch of stuff. They took jewelry. They took just a bunch of stuff like that, whatever, material things. And then after that experience, I had to move and all this stuff. And I just went to food as an emotional, like I just started eating to the point where I got almost 300 pounds. I'm already thick girl. So like, I gained 100 pounds and it was horrible, and I felt so bad about myself. And I just was like, I can't believe I'm here. Was really low. I was in a relationship at the time. And the guy that I was with was still with me or whatever the case. And of course he was like cheating on me, which at the time I'm like, I get it. Like I got so big. Why would he want to like have sex with me? Why would he want me? But then like one day I was like, fuck this, I'm going to lose this weight. And, I just went hard. And those are the days where we didn't have Ozempic. I wish we did, because that would have been way easier for me. But there was no Ozempic and Mounjaro and stuff. But I lost it. I haven't gained it back, thank God, but that was just a really dark time for me, and I just went to food, like, like some people go to drugs, liquor. I just was like, food is it for me.
Yeah. I mean, food can be
Yeah.
a deadly addiction.
Yeah, for
Do you
sure.
think that the robbery just triggered the whole like it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back for your trauma?
It probably was. It was a lot. And you know what's weird is I was still very matter of fact about all of it. I remember I cried the next day after it happened. Like for a second, my sister was like, "What are you crying for? Like, you're gonna have to like move, get over this shit." Like, da 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 da.
What are you crying
Yeah,
for?
and she's like, just I come from such a tough love situation.
That's not tough love.
Yeah,
I don't know your sister, but I would tell her that if she was here. That's not tough love. That's mean.
Yeah, and I was really hurt. I'll never forget that moment. And I hope she doesn't see this. Please forgive me. But, I was like, oh my God, And so I was just like, whatever, you have to get over it. And this is so embarrassing because it just shows how low my self-esteem was. But I remember going through it. And then my boyfriend at the time, I caught him like texting a girl. And I remember going over there and I'm like, why are you texting this girl? He's like, honestly, your robbery has been a lot on me and I needed someone else to vent to. And I literally sat there. This is how low and insecure and how low and fucked up I was, and was like, I get that. I understand. I'm sorry that this has been a lot on you. Ridiculous. I'm not that person anymore. Thank God.
I hate these people.
Yeah, I know. And I literally was like, wow. And I stayed with him. And, I went
also,
through.
like, it's okay to be insecure.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know that I would say that that's insecurity. Like that's a trauma response as well. When you go through really dark things, attachment to people and codependency is a real thing. I was a codependent person for a really long time.
How did you break that? Please.
I
tell me.
You know what? It was an intentional thing. And I got out of a very, very bad relationship and I started going to therapy, which I had gone to therapy many times, but I found a Black woman therapist who's around my age, because I'd been through a bunch of different types of therapists. And I was like, I really want someone who I feel like at least there's not an extra explanation for everything that I have to have for what my experience is.
Yes.
And I told her, there's a lot wrong with me.
Yeah.
We got a lot to fix. But the one thing that I really want to focus on is me being codependent. Like, I do not want to continue having the same type of people or relationships around me. Wow. And I know that there are bad people in the world. You cannot fix that there are bad people in the world and that those people are hunting for prey. But you can fix, as an adult, if you're not raised with the equipment to fight those people off, which it sounds like you weren't. I certainly wasn't.
I was not, yeah.
Then you have to build that muscle, and it might not even exist. So you have to create and then make that muscle strong. You won't accept less than what you deserve. You won't be talked to any type of way. You will not feel this debilitating need for what you have perceived as love because this person is comfortable having you around and abusing you. That's not love. The anxiety that you feel, then rewarded by this grand gesture to make you stay, to then go down again. Like, that cycle is very addicting. Yeah, it is also can be a very deadly addiction. And so for me, I was like, this is what's wrong with me. I'm a codependent person. There's other things wrong with me too. But for this thing, like, I want to fix this. I want to recognize why I have this pattern. I want to get the tools to rid myself of that. We can call it insecurity, but just really of that gap that's in my life, and I need to fix it, and I have. I may have overcorrected.
No, that's
but like
incredible.
It's it was really, really hard work.
Like, yeah.
And it was painful, but I know I don't even think about it. I will never be in an abusive situation again. I won't even be in a like bad, icky situation again. Like, it's like, even the thought of it, like the first little sniff of it, I'm like, no, thank you. This is not. I'm not interested.
Do you know how huge that is to go from being someone who suffers from codependency and attachment to be where you're at?
Yeah, it's
like,
really hard.
That is a huge accomplishment. No, seriously.
Thank you. And
like, congratulations.
I see it in friends now too, and I'm like, girl, like, you gotta do it. No one's gonna do it for you.
I didn't even know. It's crazy you say that, because for so long I didn't realize that was even a thing. I didn't know. Like, I started looking into it years ago when I got out of the relationship that was bad after the robbery and all this, and I lost the weight. And I remember reading, I was so sad still. Like, I thought, I'm going to lose this weight and I'm going to look this way again and I'm going to never care anymore. And then that happened, and that was not the truth. It was the farthest thing from the truth. I still felt horrible. When I broke up with him, I still felt so empty and just this gut feeling every day. And I felt so horrible. And I started reading about codependency, like to the point where there's AA for codependency. I did not know that was a thing. I never went, but I was seriously considering going because I'm like, there is literally something wrong with me to where I'm so attached and I have this codependency for somebody. And everyone in the world can see how they're not a good person. They're not right for you. They're horrible to you. Why do you want that? And I'm like, no, because I love them. And it's just, it's
and by the way, you do love them.
Yeah.
Like that is something else that you have to forgive in yourself. Like, they don't love you.
Yeah. 100%.
But you can love somebody and be codependent on them as well. Like, it doesn't mean that the situation is not love, but you can love them.
You can love them.
And that's what should be rewarded. It should be mutual, not rewarded. So yeah, I mean, it is. I see why there are those groups for it, because you can stay in a situation until you die.
Man, and it's to the point where sometimes, like, I've noticed that the situation had to end. Like, they had to end it because I'm just like, we'll hold on forever to like try to figure it out, try to make it work. And I didn't realize that was a real issue. That's a real attachment and codependency issue. And the fact that you're in front of me and you've done the work to get out of it, it's inspiring, because more people need to know that that's a real thing and that you can get out of that situation and be far away from it. And now I can honestly say I'm not you and I'm not 100% there, but I'm like way past how I used to be. I mean, I used to be horrible. It used to be bad. And now it's like, I'm not going to put up with that, but I'm not 100% where you're at. And
it takes a long time. But, and I will say for me, and I don't know if this is for everyone, but, we talked about, practicing the work that you do in your relationships. But I do think with codependency, for me at least, it did take being alone.
Yeah,
for a certain amount of time, because the part of breaking the codependency cycle, for me at least, was not replacing that person with another person to be codependent on, and being comfortable and full in being alone.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I was talking to a friend about this week, just some of the narratives that are particularly online, and you host a relationships show. So I know you're hyper aware of these conversations, but just the sort of the encouragement in this trad wife propaganda that's out there that, there is a box to be checked for getting married, for having kids, for just having a man, and that, you're less than for not having those things. Not for having a great relationship, a loving relationship, a good relationship, a supportive, respectful relationship, a kind relationship, fulfilling, none of those things. Just a materialistic box checked. We don't know what's going on in your life. Just get this man that has these things and do these things so that society can't say, oh, you don't have kids. Oh, you don't have a man. Oh, you're not married. And the underlying danger in that, for me, as somebody who's experienced these things, and now I know you have also, is you're telling people who may already have this be predisposed to being codependent, that not only do you not deserve better in your life and you feel that, but also if you leave, people are going to think less of you because you're not checking these societal boxes by leaving this man, by not having kids with this man,
100%.
By prioritizing yourself, by saying that you love yourself enough to be alone. And I realize, like, I don't care about getting married. I would get married. I don't care about it. I've been married. I've been engaged. Like, having a partner on paper is a huge, huge thing that we make very light of these days because of these conversations. But I say all that to say, like, being alone is an amazing thing when you need to heal. Like, you do need to feel confident in yourself and you. Not 100%. You with someone.
I agree with that 100%. I think that's so important. And I will, to speak on what you were saying, I've said this before. It's like, you will look down on me because I have standards. I won't enter a relationship that's not going to be healthy for me, but you'll praise a woman who might be getting abused every night because she's married. And I'm like, you're on the internet. Well, why are you single? You're single, so you're this. So it makes us as women feel like if I'm single, that means I don't have any value to the world anymore. Right. And I'm just sick of that narrative because being single is so empowering. And I tell Paul this because he's like 30s plus you guys are so desperate to have someone. And I'm like, again, like, yeah, he says this. And I'm like, it's crazy you say this because I think it's the opposite. I think a lot of women that are getting older realize the power and how they feel alone and how men don't realize what you guys bring is not always great. And sometimes it just does not feel good being with you guys. Like it weighs down on a woman. And sometimes we don't want to deal with that. And when I've been in those spaces where I'm alone and I'm like, wow, like it's actually peaceful. I actually feel good right now, and I do agree with you on that 100%. I think that message is it's really bad. I don't think it's a good message. And I think it encourages people to stay in places where they don't need to stay because they're like, if I'm here, if I leave this person, then what? Like I lose value or I can't find another man,
Yeah. I mean, there's so many men. Oh my God. They're everywhere. There's so many of them. They're falling from the sky. Like it's raining men.
Literally.
There's a loneliness epidemic. So I promise you there's men. They're literally fucking everywhere. So, I mean, what I would say to a woman who is in that position is like, yeah, there's as many men as there are women. They're fucking literally everywhere. I understand that people have ideas of what they want their partner to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that can create a limited supply. If you're like, I want a 6'4", good looking, full beard, 6-pack, drives this kind of car, has this much money, lives in this type of house, has this type of job, like, yeah, you are limiting the pool and expanding his pool because his pool is very big and your pool is very limited.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that you don't have value as a woman. It just means it might be a little more difficult for you.
Yes.
Like that's just, and by the way, you have not used one descriptor of anything that fucking matters. You haven't said, is this a good person? Is this person kind? Is this a protector? Is this somebody who is loyal? Like none of the qualities that are going to make your life happy and make a good partner have you used to just describe this person. So yeah, I mean, if you just want a man, I don't even entertain those conversations. Girl, I need to be married.
Yeah.
I'll be married tomorrow. Later today, actually.
That's what I literally...
Is it 5 yet? Okay, not today. The courthouse is closed. Tomorrow, I could have a husband.
Literally.
Like, I can't go back and forth with these conversations. It's fucking stupid.
Thank you.
So, like, it's a choice.
Thank you.
And anyone who says otherwise, suck my dick. You're fucking stupid, and it's not a conversation. It's not a serious conversation.
Thank you.
I don't have unserious conversations.
Thank you.
Men are not hard to find, and that's not disrespectful to men. You guys are just fucking everywhere.
Thank you.
And you would get married because having a wife is beneficial
to a man.
Do you know how fucking good my life would be if I had a wife?
Thank you. And I might, who knows? That might be my next.
I would never have to pack anything. Like I'd never have to. I'd have a meal. Okay.
I'm telling you, I really am thinking I might need to get a wife.
Or you could get a good solid husband too. Like they do the same things as a wife. But like the point is, please don't stay in these situations. If you take anything from this conversation, please don't feel. And it is hard. It's so hard.
I know.
So I can tell you, it is so fucking hard to break a codependent habit.
It is, and I'm so proud of you, first of all. And I want you to know, like, if anyone hasn't told you, I will tell you, knowing how hard that is, like, that is the biggest accomplishment.
Thank you.
Like, that is,
seriously,
really it's like a huge accomplishment. That is big.
It's like breaking an addiction.
It literally is, because that rules your world. If you're codependent and attached, people can do anything to you because you want them that bad. And I don't even know if it's the person or it's just the codependent attachment.
It's the people who prey on codependent people.
Yeah.
All are the same person. They're all abusers. They all have the same personality profile. They all have the same goal. There will be, maybe this person doesn't take it to the extreme that other people will, but all the same things will happen
100%
throughout the course of the relationship. Like, it might not ever reach to the point where they kill you, but there will be some variety of this is the meal that's served of abuse. Because I mean, even now, you wouldn't want a codependent man.
No, you're right.
I don't want a codependent man. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
It's
that's real. I never, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You have to be a specific person to prey on that type of person.
Yeah. But if I wanted to fuck somebody's life up, I would find a codependent man because I could do whatever I wanted to them and they would put up with it because their goal isn't to be happy. Their goal is to have a person.
Wow.
But I'm proud of you too, though.
Thank you.
If no one has told you, that is everything that you have gone through, and this is obviously just a few stories, but you have to continue to give yourself grace. I talked about recently on the show about grief and just the complexities of grief and giving yourself grace and getting clarity and adjusting to being a new person after trauma and after you've grieved situations, you've grieved change, you've grieved friendships, you've grieved relationships, you've grieved death.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I was talking about it because of the Justin Bieber Coachella performance. I grieve my childhood because I didn't have one. And it doesn't sound like
that gave me chills.
It doesn't sound like you did either.
Yeah.
And that's a really sad thing. And a lot of people don't. And I don't think that people who didn't have childhoods, but I mean by having childhoods, I didn't have the ability to be innocent as a child. It's not that I didn't do things that other kids did, or to the outside looking in that I wasn't treated as a kid. I didn't have innocence as a child. And that robbery from adults, taking that from a child, is horrific. And it's not replaceable. You're only a child once. As an adult, you can go through different things and move through different traumas and have terrible experiences, but it's a different level of control that you have over your experience. Small amount of control, but you can choose to put yourself in certain situations. As a child, you have no choice over that. And I grieve my childhood a lot.
Wow. That's actually gave me the chills because I never even thought about it. I think I disassociate so much. Like, there are so many sections of my life I don't even think about or remember that I don't even go deep into my childhood ever because I'm like, man, I just keep it moving. Like, I have to keep it moving. I have to try to focus on this right here. And like, when you say it, and yeah, were you saying because Justin Bieber did he did the thing as a child?
Yeah, and I don't know if that was even the message that he was sending. Art is obviously subjective, but I did feel a little bit of that.
I see that.
That he's been through a lot, obviously, in this industry, and he's a different artist now than he was when he first started in the industry. And I think as a person, obviously you go through changes, but sometimes bad things happen to you that you didn't ask for, that you didn't put yourself in that position. You didn't go do the drug, you didn't ask for these things and they happen to you. And then you have to adjust to liking the new person that's hurt.
Whew. That's real. Do you feel like when you suffer like from loss or any type of grief, do you think it gets better because you've dealt with it before? Like, can you handle it better now? Or
if it's the same type of grief?
Same, or just
any grief? Yeah, a lot of people have said to me, particularly over the past year, like, you don't know what because I've been constantly saying like I'm not going to be the same person, and they're trying to be encouraging and saying like, well, you don't know, you could be better, and I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. I don't think it's trending that way. I'm not saying I'm going to hate the new me, or I'm not going to be proud of the new me. I don't think I'm like, I don't think it's trending towards making me like a kinder, more understanding, more patient, more gracious, more forgiving person. Like, bleh. I'm gonna,
like,
those qualities are not gonna be encouraged by this circumstance.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll be better in that I'm more protective of myself, that I have a smaller circle, that I'm more intentional in those ways, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I'm not interested. I don't really give a fuck about what it's going to add to my life right now. I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
So like, it's like getting this scar. It's like, oh, like, well, it's a cool scar. Like, yeah, I could have gone without it.
Right.
Like I was cool. I was cool without this fucking thing.
Exactly.
Without this albatross, without this scarlet letter. So yeah, like you take the shit that you're given, and you make the best of it. But I don't know. Like, do you feel like you are better?
I wouldn't say better, but I mean, this is what I will say. When I suffer, like, and I go through things and I lose people or I lose things, I'm always like, I've been through this so many times. Why does it still hurt so bad? Like, I would think that it would be like easier. You've already felt this. You've already lost people. You've already done this.
I think that's a good thing. It is because apathy.
Yeah.
What's the quote? The opposite of love is indifference.
Yes.
So it's not hate.
Hate, it's indifference.
So, being apathetic, that's a bitter woman, in some ways. Although I don't know, like being bitter, I think is still kind of an emotion. Apathy, where you feel nothing, is dangerous. That might be the hardest thing to come back from.
Really?
Because you're not, you don't care about anything. You don't feel good. You don't feel bad. You don't feel deeply, and you're just kind of numb to everything.
Yeah.
Which I know I have tapped into as a survival mechanism multiple times. Apathy doesn't scare me as much as being bitter, though.
But I think bitter is an emotion.
That's
I do agree with you. Yeah.
Being bitter is something I've always tried to fight because I grew up around some really bitter people.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, like that sucks. Like, I do not want to wake up every day filled with like this seething, like, bitter, no, I'm cool. I would rather feel nothing.
Yeah. Bitterness. And I've seen myself kind of tap into bitterness at like once or twice, and it's so ugly. It's such an ugly emotion because you're just so upset. And I remember one time I had a friend and she was venting about something with her boyfriend, and I was just projecting bitterness, and she's checked me on it one day and she was like, I stopped talking to you about him. And I was like, I realized that. What happened? She was like, you were projecting so much of your bitterness on. And that taught me, her even being honest with me was like, damn. I was young and I remember that. And I'm like, I do not want to be that person.
Yeah.
I do not want to be that person. Yeah.
What's the next, well, I guess like, you host a relationship show. You're the only woman in the room.
Yes.
You have a lot of experiences. You're a very complex person. What is your goal with your show? Like what do you hope comes across with your content? Because it's not as simple as like just telling somebody they should split the bill.
Yeah, for sure. I think, even with Truth After Dark, I do sometimes fear like we've lost the plot when it comes to this gender war conversation. I feel like,
we're cooked.
We're cooked.
We're cooked. At
so,
this point, it's about what goes viral and what gets engagement, because we are cooked.
But I will say, like, just for me personally, I do hope, and this is what I'm working on this year, is to tap more into like the things that I know, the wisdom that I have, and the experiences that I've gone through to help other women, and just be vulnerable and be honest. I feel like a lot of the internet is highlight reels of everything that's good. And sometimes it can be a sad place if you're going through something and you're seeing things and you're like, damn, well, why is my life feeling so horrible? So I want to be able to inspire and like talk to women and just like share my journey and my story and just be a lot more vulnerable. I think that I haven't been as vulnerable as I probably could be. And I haven't shared a lot of the things that I have gone through, this is always good because I feel like I share more than, I would typically on my show with Paul, because that's just not our typical rhetoric, but that's kind of where I'm going, just like making a lot more of my own content, just speaking to people who've been through the things we've been through. And even with my codependency journey, like sharing that and healing that. And like you said earlier, that can be very therapeutic for myself, and hopefully can help other people in the process.
Yeah, I hope you do.
Yeah.
With what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I know there are certain things that I'm just not comfortable sharing.
Yeah, same.
And you should share only what you feel comfortable with, because in this world, once it's out, it's out. But you will help people. There's someone who's going to hear your story and relate to some part of it, and if you really are like honest about it and truthful for the hard parts and the coming through the other side, it cuts through to people. And I think it gives you great depth to what you're saying, to what your experiences are. A lot of these relationship conversations obviously can be very surface, and the internet doesn't allow for nuance and all of those things. But when you come from a place of power, which you take back when you tell your story, it gives you a different perspective. Like it's very easy to say, okay, well, like, I'm taking time to be by myself right now. Like, okay, well, nobody wants to wife her. Like, okay, that's one way of looking at that. Another one is, I've been through a lot of things, and I want to be whole for the next person that comes into my life. I want to be able to pour into them, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. So yeah, I mean, I've been on a vulnerability journey. I hate fucking being vulnerable. God damn, I hate it. I did not like it. I don't like it in my life. I don't like it in my friendship. Like, I don't like it in nothing. It's not a comfortable space for me to be in. Yeah, so doing it on this show has been like, part of this show is forcing me to be vulnerable, to tell stories, to like let people in. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I'm really grateful that you shared all that today. Thank you for being open about it. It's a lot, girl. It's a crazy story.
It is. And I appreciate you for sharing that with me. I feel like you even helped me in a sense. Like I that's why I know it's so important, to just be open, even though it is hard, because people weaponize everything you've been through, and they're like,
I mean, fuck people.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
are the fucking fuck people. Fuck them.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
Right.
You didn't survive a cult, bitch.
Yeah.
The fuck you talking about? Give a fuck what you think.
Right, exactly. No, for sure.
Fuckity fuck. Get the fuck out of here. No way. That's you should, you're right. Like, people do weaponize things against you. For sure. Like, people have weaponized me talking about abuse and all those things against me. But those people their lives are awful.
Exactly. 100%.
That's not a normal thing to say to somebody. So, yeah, so I hope that gives you some peace.
No, thank you.
Those are truly awful people.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, wow. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you for being honest and open and sharing your story. And I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and make sure you check out Truth After Dark, and that you follow. Oh wait, where's my note? Okay, go follow Azar at I am, for you dumbasses, I'm Azar Farideh, Farideh. Check out Truth After Dark. Is there anything else you want anyone to do?
No, that's it. Thank you so much. I really loved this space and being on here. It was really great.
Thank you for coming. It's so good to see you.
Of course. Thank you.